Good morning. Today is a historic Monday, July 6. Tune in to Bilyonaryo News Channel as we bring you the first day of VP Sara Duterte's impeachment trial. I'm former Secretary Edwin Lacierda from Pinoy's administration.
Good morning. I'm former spokesperson Margaux Salcedo from President Joseph Estrada's administration. But before the impeachment trial begins this afternoon, we'll give you our special guest, one of the most sought-after VIP, super VIP leaders of this administration, only here with us at The Spokes.
He spent more than 3 decades working in global financial markets, monetary policy, and central banking. Today, he leads the country's most important financial institution.
The Spokes is privileged to have with us Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor Eli Remolona Jr. Welcome to The Spokes, Governor Eli, and thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Ay, totoong talagang VVIP siya.
Super VIP po, because he is not just the best in the Philippines, but the best in the world.
Yes.
Among the central bankers.
At I didn't know that I was having a discussion with him kanina. I realized that his father is from Mauban, and Mauban is also dear to me, and also from Samar.
Are you from Samar?
No, I'm not from Samar or Mauban, but I have friends in Mauban. So I've been to Mauban, a very nice town in Quezon province.
I
Yes.
am Maubanon, I am Waray.
Waray! Waray! Yes, sir. But, sir, anytime that anybody Googles you, the first thing po that they see is that you were with the Federal Bank in New York. For those who might not be familiar with the Federal Reserve System, this is this the Central Bank of New York? It's not po.
No, it's one of the 12 district banks. But the New York Fed covers markets, financial markets. So it's different from the other reserve banks.
But I think it's also the most respected amongst all. So
And I think
really
the
the best in
Treasury
the world.
Secretary of Obama, Obama was the governor of the bank in New York, Federal Reserve Bank in New York. I forgot his name, but the people in the Federal Reserve are
So
always in
having
demand.
worked there, Gov, were you good friends with Alan Greenspan?
Not Alan Greenspan himself. I was good friends with Ben Bernanke, who succeeded Alan Greenspan, and I was good friends with Janet Yellen, who came after Ben Bernanke.
Were you there during the whole crisis in the U.S. on the subprime?
I was in Basel by then,
You were in Basel.
but we were very involved in the
Yung
crisis.
sa Basel naman po is the Bank for International Settlements.
Yes.
Which is, for those po who are not familiar also with Basel, Basel Valdez lang po kasi yung alam ng markets dito. Basel po is the place po in Switzerland.
Yes.
How long were you there, and what's the function po of the BIS?
The BIS is considered to be the central bank of central banks.
Oh, okay.
So the major central banks get together in Basel to compare notes, to listen to new ideas. And then it's also therapy because we kind of share problems with each other.
Parang comparison po of the central banks around the world.
Yes.
Also the best practices, you compare best practices.
Absolutely, yes.
So after all of those years po, how many years po in New York?
14 in New York,
Wow.
6 in Basel, and then I was head for Asia and the Pacific for the BIS for 13 years in Hong Kong.
Wow. And then I also read, Gov, that you were a professor in Columbia University.
Oh, yes,
Was
yes,
that while you were with the Fed in New York?
While I was at the New York Fed.
Wow.
I also taught at UP for some time, and I taught at Williams College.
But Gov, I understand that your doctorate was from Stanford?
Yes.
Ano na yan?
Ang hirap.
Masyadong high level po. Opo. Sa UP School of Economics naman po, sino po yung mga kasabayan niyo po doon?
Kasabay
You're
ko si...
aging him naman eh.
Carbon dating kay Gov.
Oo nga. I was with Philip Medalla, Dante Canlas, and Ben Jokno, among others.
May ano po sila, yung batch niyo po, mga colleagues niyo po, you're all central bank governors.
Oh, except Dante Canlas.
Opo,
maybe.
except Dante Canlas.
Si Phil Madala was a monetary board member.
Right.
Yeah.
He became governor as well.
He did? Oh, I
Yes
forgot.
po.
I remember during our time, he was a monetary board member of under Pinoy. So, but he was highly recommended, regarded, even during the Estrada administration, maayos si Philip.
Yes. So, how did you come to accept the offer po to become
Oo nga.
central bank
You
governor
had a very
here?
stellar career internationally. Why did you decide to come back? First,
was,
you came back to BPI, I think.
I served as director
Okay.
at BPI, but I was doing that while abroad.
Okay.
So that was a long commute. But the offer of a position at the central bank, that was irresistible. I was eager to come home and serve my country.
Yeah, I remember Gov Ben saying that when your country calls you to serve, it is your duty to say yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, the thing, Governor, is there's always this is not exactly a business show. So the people watching us are more on the politicians, ordinary people. No, there's been a confusion on when the line between the DOF and the Bangko Sentral, between fiscal policy and monetary policy. As a central bank, Bangko Sentral 101, Governor, could you enlighten us on this distinction? And when do you intervene as a term? When do you really intervene? When do you say, "Ops, hindi namin trabaho yan"?
Or tsaka siguro po, pwede natin ma-explain din sa nakikinig sa atin ngayon, ano ba talaga po yung role ng central
correct.
bank? Ano po, I mean,
Yung pinaka-role namin is price stability, keep inflation low. We also do financial stability, which is keep the banks in good shape.
Right.
Whereas on the Department of Finance side, their role is fiscal policy. It's
When you say
manage.
fiscal policy, it's also a technocratic term. So
Yes, yes. They manage government spending. And so when the economy is weak, they spend more to stimulate the economy. And then they also make sure that the spending is good spending. It goes to the right places.
opo. So I guess, like, di ba yung customs po and the BIR are both under the Department of Finance.
Yes.
But yung BSP po has its independence.
That's right. That's right. We consider our independence very, very essential, and the successive administrations have respected that. But even as we're independent, we remain accountable. We have to explain what we do.
yes.
But Gov, you also have regulatory powers po, di ba?
Yes, yes.
As kayo po yung nag-regulate sa mga banks, financial institutions, what are some of the examples po of some of the great things that the BSP has done for regulating our banks? I saw in the news recently that you're coming up with something for consumer protection.
Yes, yes, yes. The main thing is to keep our banking system resilient. We don't want any banking failure that spreads throughout the system. So we have kind of changed our focus from protecting individual banks to protecting the system as a whole. So, if the system as a whole has problems, it's going to be a big problem.
I saw po kasi sa consumer protection, sometimes, for example, pag na-charge ka ng sobra,
Oo.
di ba po, parang you have a proposal for effectivity in 2027 wherein they might be able to at least like some supervise over that.
Yeah, we're looking very closely at that. We don't want to tell banks how to do their job, but we want to kind of advise them on what would help. For example, the payment system. We want the payment system to be healthy, robust, and available to everybody. And we want to maximize what's called network externalities. I know that's a very nerdy term, but it just means the more people are able to use it, the better it is for everybody.
So in other words, Governor, you're speaking about financial inclusion.
Yes, yes.
So how much is, I remember during our time, there was really a thrust on financial inclusion, but where are we now in terms of financial inclusion?
there is still the same thrust, but we now call it financial health,
Oh, okay.
which means we're hoping that people begin to know how to manage their finances, manage their debt, and then manage their expenses.
Another wonderful thing that I saw with the BSP was, naalala niyo po nung galit na galit si Cardinal Ambo about online gambling?
Oo.
And then, sometimes kasi na-addict yung mga tao sa online gambling, di ba? Tapos nakakonect yung GCash mo doon, yung Paymaya mo doon, nakakonect siya. And then, within 48 hours, nagsabi yung BSP na, alisin niyo yung link dyan. Di
Not
ba
only
po?
that,
Yeah,
Governor, I'll
bravo.
just tell you a personal anecdote because
Yes.
I had a fintech company, a digital payment, which is under the supervision of Bangko Sentral. We got a notice from Bangko Sentral. Please identify if you have gambling merchants. So we had to respond to you and say that wala kaming gambling merchants. So, but it's really making sure that that whole system will not be manipulated by unlicensed gamblers, so and even licensed gamblers. But which is why that's part of the recommendation. The response was very swift from Bangko Sentral.
That's part of our trust for financial health.
Yes po. And then I understand that you also have been doing a lot for, you will like this, digitalization.
Yes.
May nakita po ako recently na announcement na the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is assisting or collaborating for the digitalization of payments for the government.
Yes. Yes, I think digitalization is very helpful, and not just for efficiency of payments, but it's also helpful for financial health.
Right.
So
It lowers the cost of the
It lowers,
businesses also.
yeah, it lowers the cost of people becoming part of the banking system.
Right.
And zero transfer fees.
Yes,
Yan po yung
absolutely.
headline
Yeah,
recently.
yeah.
So that's your advocacy
Wala na
po?
pong bayan ng InstaPay PesoNet.
Wala na.
So paano
Ayun.
po yan? Eh di mga bangko hindi na nag-charge ng 10 piso kada transaction. Malaking rin.
Malaking bagay yan. Hindi pa naman lahat, pero I think it's gonna happen. Karamihan ng bangko.
Malaki po yan, especially pero I think during the pandemic tinanggal po ninyo ang ang Bangko Sentral did away with the fees during that time. Magandang ho yan kasi is to encourage small depositors.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Governor, how much is we have a population of 100-something million.
Yes.
Would you know, if you know, what is the percentage of our people who have a banking, who have experience in banking?
The last time I looked, it was like close to 80%.
Oh, wow, that's
in terms
huge.
of involvement in digital banking.
That includes also using the e-wallets.
Yes. Digital payments.
Siguro kasi some of the LGUs now also, you are able to get your ayuda through e-wallets and not cash. But I think that's really the goal po, di ba? Is to
So everything should go through digital payments.
Naku, kailangan matuto na talaga tayo ng digital transfers, digital payments.
So far, we've not seen any banking crisis for the past decade, or at least it was the Bangko Sentral has been very proactive in ensuring the
Yes. We're trying.
Yes.
or at least what maybe we don't know what's happening that you're able to correct it.
When I started on Bilyonaryo, one of our first episodes was with an economist, and we were talking about inflation.
Yes.
And at the time, I remember that I co-hosted with you on that day, and I remember that we were kaka-announce nyo lang po nung 4.25 just a few days before that. And I think now you've just a few days ago or a couple of weeks ago also
In June,
just raised it again.
Yes,
So how often po does the Monetary Board meet? And who determines it po ba? It's the Monetary Board po, di ba?
The Monetary Board meets every week on a Thursday.
Oh,
But
okay.
for policy purposes, it meets every 2 months. So we have that 2-month time to think about that.
Oh, so that's the reason why they would say, oh, the Bangko Sentral, the Monetary Board is meeting, so are we anticipating any interest rate change? Doon po ba yun sa policy meetings?
Yes,
na yan?
yes. And that's published. The market knows what the schedule is.
Yes po. So your next one po would be June, July, August. August pa po? Okay. Every 2 months talaga siya. Okay. And are
Hindi naman strict yun. Occasionally, we do an off-cycle meeting. Even when the numbers are tell us to act more urgently, then we're able to meet between the scheduled policy meetings.
So last April, following the Iran war, it went up to 4.25, and then now po this last June, 4.5.
Yeah.
And ano po yung assessment?
So dalawang 25 basis points magkasunod. Sorry.
I heard that last April, there was one daw in the board that actually even wanted to hike it up plus 0.5 right away. So, na-achieve na po yun. Mukhang okay na po ba yung 4.5? Parang bumababa na naman ang inflation po.
Pasensya na po. You mentioned 25 basis points.
Yeah.
It's a technical term, or we call it 25 bips, no? Paki-explain lang po, pasensya na po, pakipaliwanag lang po, when you say 25 bips or 25 basis points, what exactly are you talking about? Kasi it's a very technical term.
1%, 2%, no?
Right.
Pag yung 1%, ginawa mo 1.25%, 25 basis points yun. Pag dinagdagan mo ng 0.25,
So lesser than 1%, it's called 25 bips or 25
Yeah,
basis points. So if you're increasing 50,
Yeah.
so it's 50 bips or 50 basis points.
that's right. So 100 basis points is 1%.
It's 1%.
Yeah.
Yes. Yun po yung ibig sabihin po nung 100 bips is 1% lang.
Yeah.
Siguro po ang question din dun para sa taong bayan natin is ano yung magiging impact po nun for the regular consumer?
So magiging mas mahal humiram ng konti, no? Pero ang importante doon na pinapababa yung inflation. You know, when we do surveys of well-being, the number one indicator of well-being is inflation.
Yes po, yung sa inflation po, may misconception na parating pag tumataas yung presyo dahil sa inflation, gobyerno ang may kasalanan po dyan. Totoo po ba yun? And kasi yung Bangko Sentral lang inaayos nila para hindi masyadong tumaas yung inflation. So, sino po bang may kasalanan ng inflation na yan?
Depende, no? Depende. Karamihan yan, gaya ngayon, yung tinatawag namin global supply shock. Nagtaas ang gasolina around the world, so tatamaan tayo niyan. Pag supply shock na ganyan, wala kami magagawa sa BSP. Ang pwede naming makontrol lang yung second round effects nung shock na yun. Right. Kasi yun ang galing sa demand side.
Paliwanag natin po, Governor, no? Ano ang supply side, ano ang demand-driven na inflation? Kasi may dalawa po yan eh. So, when do you intervene and when do you, raising the interest rates won't help?
So, gaya ngayon, magandang example to. Tumaas ang presyo ng oil. Energy, tumaas. Ano? Grabe yung tinaas. No? Tsaka hindi namin alam kung gaano katagal tataas yun. Importante yung pagtaas at saka importante yung gaano katagal siyang tumaas. Ngayon, may mga second round effects yan. Fertilizer, pagkain, yung mga ganyan, transportation. Yung second round effects ang medyo kaya naming ma-manage. So kaya tumaas ng husto yung inflation rate namin, pero tinitira namin yung second round effects para bumaba, para marating yung target natin na 3%.
Yes po. So we have a few questions po,
Yes.
Gov, from we're live po kasi now. So we have a few questions from our listeners, our viewers. Ana Inigo has a personal question. Ang tagal niyo pong nasa abroad. Ano po ang na-miss niyo sa Pilipinas kaya po kayo bumalik?
Nako, miss na miss ko.
Pagkain?
Pagkain. Sisig ang pinaka-na-miss ko.
Sisig. Okay po. There's another, would you like that?
Ikaw na.
There's another question po from live viewer at Jco. Bakit hindi kaya ng banks maging zero transfer fee? Although I think you said earlier na that's the goal. Opo.
That's the goal. Kaya naman. Kaya lang na gusto nilang makaver yung gastos nila eh. Pero pag tinignan mo yung buong economy, yung mga payments na yan, yung mga transfers na yan, mas maganda kung kasali lahat. Yung value ng buong sistema tumataas kung maraming kasali. Yun ang gusto namin mangyari, kasali lahat. So dapat bawasan yung entry fee, at least yung entry fee. So yun ang policy.
The Philippines is now officially an upper middle income economy. But why do majority Filipinos struggle on their day-to-day needs? But before you answer that question, the spokesman will return after this short break.
And the spokes is back, still with BSP Governor Eli Remolona Jr. Our hanging question. The Philippines is now officially an upper middle income economy. So interesting because we were just talking about this last Monday. And then a few days later, nag-upper middle income economy na tayo. But why do Filipinos still struggle with their day-to-day needs? Ayan, paano po ba ito aabot sa sikmura ng Pilipino? I think that's something. But of course, first of all, what is the impact of becoming an upper middle income economy po?
To me, it means we have good fundamentals in place because it means we were able to grow at close to 6% for many years.
Right.
So there's something right. And those fundamentals are still in place for us to grow even more. And not only to grow even more, but to also help reduce inequality and reduce poverty.
So it's a step, one of the first steps. Do you feel, Governor, that by achieving the upper middle income status, we would automatically, or at least it would be more rosy and enticing for investors to come to the Philippines?
It's not automatic, but it helps. We look better to foreign investors. They see that we have potential.
Iklaro lang natin, itong UMIC status is really based on GNI, gross national income, of Filipinos, domestic and abroad.
Yes.
So, pinull together yan, divided by the number of media population. So, I think it was how much? $570 billion yata ang, based on the World Bank report.
GNI, yes.
Over 117 million yata ang population. That's why they came up with the figure of 4,850, which is above the threshold of 4,300 something.
Yes.
So, but that doesn't mean that yung parang conflated po yung tanong eh. Di ba? Parang, bakit hindi namin nararamdaman? Because iba namang usapan yan, no? Di ba? Ibang usapan po yan. So, yun dapat pinagtutuunan pa rin ng pansin. Diba?
Average yun eh.
Average po yan eh.
Yung GNI, kasama nga yung, sinasabi mo, yung pinapadala ng mga OFW, kasama yon.
Kasama yon.
Remittances.
Kaya lahat ng income ng mga Pilipino, dito is collated, and then yun ang divided by the total number of population, media yata. So, kaya lumabas, 4,850 yata po tayo.
Eh yung ano po?
Kung GDP, yun lang output dito sa Pilipinas, hindi kasama yung...
hindi kasama ang remittances ng overseas sa computation ng GDP.
Meron po akong theoretical academic question. Yung income from corruption, sinasama po ba nila yun sa GNI?
Hindi yata kayang bilangin yun.
Siguro po kung sinama yun sa GNI, baka ano na tayo, talagang upper income na talaga tayo.
Pero, Governor, you said that it shows that we are growing.
Yeah.
But the next hurdle would be, shouldn't it be, we must grow better?
We must grow better. I think that's a good way to put it. We must reduce poverty. Because
if you look at it, Governor, our sources of income, at least in the Philippines, revenue, is not basically we have a less active manufacturing sector compared to the others. So there are certain areas that we need to, and also how do we increase productivity? How do we go into digital? Yung mga ganun po, yung mga ganung klase mga advice po, manggagaling po yan sa inyo ba o sa DOF para to inform the government?
Usually sa sa NEDA yan eh.
Sa NEDA.
So we offer technocratic advice, but it's up to NEDA to deliver on.
That's true. Speaking of NEDA...
DepDev, sorry.
Yes.
Just to update myself.
Hindi pa rin ako sanay.
Oo nga, ako din po eh. May carbon dating tayo pag alam mo yung NEDA. Actually, may panahon ka nag-NEDA talaga yung alam mo. Speaking of yung NEDA, kasi dapat po single-digit levels ng poverty ang goal. Di ba magkatuwang po yun, yung upper middle income status, and also to achieve the single-digit poverty levels. But we lose so much because of corruption. I guess the BSP also plays a good role with the Anti-Money Laundering Council.
Yes.
There's actually a phone-in question po from Julian. But maybe our question po is the role of the AMLAC. What is the process po with the AMLAC? Pwede po bang mas bilisan po nila yung pag-monitor?
Actually, hindi ko rin alam yung context nito pong tanong. Ba't sinabing bakit mabagal ang AMLAC?
Opo, pero baka, kasi siguro we'll understand it sa proseso. Tama po ba? Ano po ba yung role ng AMLAC talaga? At ano
Talagang
yung process
mabagal
niya?
dahil importante yung due process. Eh. So, nangyayari sa AMLAC, merong mga report ng mga bangko, yung suspicious transactions report. Million-million yan eh. So, ina-analyze siya ng AMLAC. Eh, pag nakita nila na masama talaga, may basis yung suspicion ng mga bangko, pwede sila mag-petition sa Court of Appeals para i-freeze yung account na yon. So yung process na yon, mabagal talaga kasi hahanapan mo ng crime eh. Hindi pwede yung suspicious transaction.
Curious question, Governor, and I don't know if you can answer this, but are you using now artificial intelligence with the millions of transactions that are going on? Do you use AI to track and identify what are suspicious and what are
We have no choice.
So are you currently using artificial
Beginning to
intelligence?
use AI,
Okay.
yes.
And how does it, you hope to accelerate the processing of...
Yes.
Maganda yun.
Sometimes digitalization, I think, plays a great role for transparency, accountability.
Yes,
That's the direction po ba of the BSP and also with the Anti-Money Laundering Council po?
Yeah, absolutely.
But AMLC is not under you. You head the AMLC?
I'm
is
chairman of the council.
Right, but is it under any...
It's kind of independent.
Okay.
They have their own director. They have their own... but there's a council
Right.
to whom the director reports on a kind of regular
Which
basis.
is you, Insurance Commissioner,
Insurance Commissioner,
and the SEC?
SEC.
Just the three?
Just the three.
Okay.
I saw that you also just recently celebrated your anniversary. Happy anniversary po ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas.
33 years.
33 years. And you published a book po.
Yes. Yeah.
Could you share about the book?
We published a book on past crises, what went wrong, and how were they resolved. So it's kind of a warning
Right.
about avoiding how to avoid a crisis. But it also says that the crises were not so bad. Somehow we managed to get out of the crisis each time. We're not depending on that entirely. We still want to be very careful about avoiding crisis.
Ang dami naman po natin talaga, Asian financial crisis, global crisis, Iran war, Ukraine.
Paano po yan if there's such a term, in fact, there's a book that came out, Too Big to Fail, or, di ba? In the US, there was always a consideration, it's too big to fail, that we have to intervene. Is there a situation that in the past or presently, that there are situations where you have to say, it's too big to fail, we have to help or intervene?
No, absolutely. That's fundamental to how we supervise banks. We identify what we call systemically important banks, and we focus a lot more supervision on those banks.
So can I say, kasi ang pinakamalaki video, so mas matindi ang supervision sa video.
Isa yon kasi apat ang criteria dyan eh. Yung size, malaki yung video, tapos merong interconnectivity, the connection of those banks to each other, and then merong complexity, tapos merong substitutability. Merong mga bangko na sila lang ang gumagawa na importante sa system. So ganon. So
But the size of our biggest bank is compared globally, medyo it's not as big as other players.
No.
So talagang we still have is it because of the number of population, because lack of yung financial inclusion dapat itaas pa? Kaya hindi malaki ang mga bangko natin.
Kasama na yun.
Or do we need to aspire to have bigger banks?
Well, yes, in a way, but also we need to aspire to have deeper capital markets so that we don't rely entirely on our banks.
When you refer to capital markets, you're not just referring to the PSE? Or to,
Not just the PSE, also the PSE is equity, right?
Right.
Stocks.
So when you speak of capital markets, what do you...
Kasama doon yung corporate bonds. Nung matapos yung Asian crisis, sabi ni Greenspan, he said the crisis was pretty bad for Asia because they had no spare tire.
Okay.
We were so dependent on just the banks that when the banks failed, then it was really bad for us. But if we had a stock market, we had a corporate bond market, it would have been It would have been better.
Meron pong isang guest po dito, si Congressman Eli Soriano. Nung in-announce na naging ang Philippines already UMIC, Upper Middle Income Country. Ang sabi niya is, if I remember, kaya lang ginawang UMIC yan para ang Pilipinas mas maraming in order to borrow more money. Yung mga ganito, how do you answer that?
Hindi naman. We look better in the eyes of foreign investors. So it's a good step. It's a good reassurance to foreign investors.
Pero on the contrary, may nagsasabi din na pag UMIC na, mas mahihirapan daw umutang ang Pilipinas. Tama po ba yun?
Medyo. Hindi, not entirely, pero may mga concessional loans na baka mawala.
Kasi hindi na tayo mahirap, so yung concessional mababang interest. But Governor, I remember we attained already investment grade status. Ang tanong ng investment grade status is, can the Philippines pay for the loans, diba?
Yes,
so ang sabi ng investment mga credit ratings, maganda na we're investment grade. Therefore, yung sabi ni Eli Soriano, hindi naman totoo yan because right now we can borrow money at lower interest rates.
At lower rates, that's
right. Yung sinabi po yung concessional, yung mga pang-developmental, di ba?
Yung mga World Bank, ADB. Pero when we borrow in the market, ang laking tulong ng investment grade tayo. So mababa na yung spread over...
So hindi po totoong... Para sa akin, yung MIC, classification lang naman yan. It just says na, nandito na kayo, pero talagang mas tinitik, di ba?
Parang confirmation lang yan.
Correct,
Na okay pa tayo.
Na okay na tayo, di ba? Mas maganda na.
Okay tayo. But yung, meron po kayo dati, I remember that the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas had an advocacy that you called Road to A.
Nandun pa rin yun.
We are still aspiring to achieve A rating.
Triple B tayo ngayon
Wow.
which is investment grade. Ang susunod doon A, single A.
So, konti na lang po.
Medyo.
Ma-achieve
Pero
po natin.
I remember kasi sabi po nung Fitch Ratings, kasi because of the flood control issue, nagkaroon sila ng parang concern on. Pero hindi naman sinabing ibababa yung...
Hindi pa dinowngrade yung rating mismo.
Pero Governor, I know that, how do you view all these flood control issues? How did it affect obviously it affected our economy. So, how do you, I don't know really the workings. So, are you being consulted by government, also by NEDA? How do we handle this?
A little bit, yeah. We talk. But I think the government is trying very hard to ramp up spending again. Get over this flood control thing. For a while, they were becoming very disciplined in spending because of this scandal.
So, when you say being disciplined, parang hindi yata parang naging masyadong conservative sa pag-release ng infra.
Medyo tinitingnan isa-isa kung tama naman 'yon. Ngayon pwede nang bilisin yung pag-release ng.
So, pag ganyan, ang expectation yung baka third quarter mas maganda ang GDP numbers na.
Yun ang expectation din namin.
Ganun.
Do you also
Mabawi na.
expect yung inflation bumaba din po?
Dahil nagtaas na kami. Pero tingnan natin.
Opo. Yes. Yung sa inflation po, how will this affect price stability and yung purchasing power po ng mga Pilipino?
So magandang tanong yan. Alam mo, pag tinanong mo mga tao, number one indicator yan ng well-being, inflation.
Mataas ang presyo. Walang nangyayari. Ganun,
Pero binabantayan namin yung mga tinatawag na salient prices, yung mga presyo na importante sa mga tao. Presyo ng bigas, presyo ng... hindi lang yung price index, pati yung presyo ng pamasahe, yung mga ganon. Tinitignan namin mabuti yan. So, meron kaming price index para sa bottom 30%.
Okay.
Ng population. Diyan malaki ang weight ng food. Diba?
Correct.
50% diyan food. So yun, binabantayan din namin yun.
Fertilizers, di ba? Yung po yung mga naging factors.
So kunyari, recently, so mataas ang presyo ng bigas, mataas ang presyo ng gulay, ano ang recommendations po, mga prescriptions to handle that?
So ang ginagawa namin, yung meron kaming target na CPI, no?
Yes, consumer price.
So yung inflation dyan, sa basket na yan, pinapabagal namin.
Paano po nyo, curious lang, paano nyo pinapabagal?
Yung ano namin, yung kami demand side eh.
Okay.
Yung interest rate demand side.
So,
pinapahina namin yung aggregate demand para
okay. So when you say pinapahina nyo, tinataas nyo ang interest rates?
Oo.
Okay.
Oo.
Para walang masyado, para hindi mag-hit, para bumaba ang demand.
Para bumaba ang demand. Yun naman talaga ang ginagawa ng
Buti
mga
na lang
central
teacher
bank.
si Gov.
Kasi talaga naman kailangan, dapat natin
para maintindihan.
maintindihan kung ano ang
Hindi,
role.
mahirap talaga maintindihan.
Kasi ang tingin po ng tao, basta mataas ang presyo, kasalanan ng gobyerno yan. May mga several factors that we need to address.
Oo, mahirap pa kasi. Alam mo yung economy, lalo na yung monetary policy, hindi kaya ng intuition lang eh. Maraming moving parts, maraming gumagalaw eh. Ngayon, kailangan i-connect mo lahat yon para malaman mo kung anong gagawin.
And actually, yung inflation, so meron pong yung tinatawag nila na global headwinds po, di ba? Like maraming factors na wala sa Pilipinas that impact it. Like yung Iran war, ng 2022, yung Ukraine war. In fact, ang BSP po ba, tama po ba ito na ang BSP actually ang tumutulong para hindi maging ganun kalakas yung impact ng mga global headwinds na ito for that inflation?
That's right, that's right. Kasi kuminsan yung mga ganitong global headwinds, nagkakaroon ng hyperinflation eh. Pag hindi mo minanage, sobrang taas ng inflation. Pwedeng 30% sa ibang countries. Pero yun ang iniiwasan natin para hindi gumrabe pa.
So is it safe po to say that because the BSP was ahead of the curve, then we were able to prevent stagflation?
We've been able to reduce the risk of stagflation.
Yes, there was a situation, even President Marcos said that we are in danger of stagflation.
Yes.
Oo.
Yes po. So we have another question. Do you agree with Goldman Sachs? Their analysis that 3 more BSP interest rate hikes will be seen this year due to oil shocks and also the factor of El Nino. But before we answer this, Gov, the spokes will return after this short break.
These are supply shocks.
A political reckoning, a nation on one as the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte unfolds. Every testimony, every motion, and every decision carries consequences beyond the halls of power. And your Bilyonaryo news channel will be there with comprehensive expert analysis and real-time updates. VP Sara on trial, a BNC impeachment coverage.
And the spokes is back, still with BSP Governor Eli Remolona Jr. From...
Ayan po, we have a live viewer. Ito naman po is Sydney. Ano po ang salary range of people from upper middle income earner countries? Oh, that's interesting. So, tama po, sa pangkalahatang ng tao, tataas po ba ang mga, or is that a private sector initiative?
Well, now we're at $4,800 per capita. So that got us into upper middle income. To go beyond that, yung upper na talaga, kailangan mga 15,000 ang
I think, Governor, yung... ang tanong nga ngayon, yung tanong yata is, ngayon na we are now UMIC na tayo, ano dapat ang sweldo ng mga tao? That's why is that a correct conclusion to that?
Kung
Now that we have
15,000?
attained UMIC, dapat ang basic
yun ang
salary.
sweldo ngayon, yun ang average eh.
Opo. Sabagay, inakit na
So
po
that's
yung...
around for 8. So mga ano yan, more or less, sabihin na natin at 50, mga 300,000?
Average.
Average.
Inakit na yung minimum wage din. So, baka kasabayan. Although I remember na when they were targeting dun po sa medium-term fiscal framework, single-digit poverty levels, upper middle income status, tsaka yung quality jobs. Paulit-ulit po nila sinasabi po yun na magkakasama po siya dapat. May isa pa pong question, Gov, from viewer Rosa. Why is there a fee when transferring my money to other branches. Sometimes 50 pesos up to 100 pesos.
Talaga? Ganun ba kalaki?
Mawawala na yan. Sa BPI, na tinanggal na nila yan.
Yung over-the-counter po yun?
Hindi. Yung digital lang.
Digital. Okay.
Pero yung RCBC susunod na, tapos yung ibang bangko susunod na rin.
Opo. So, pero pag over-the-counter po, ayan, siguro, Rosa, ilagay mo yung pangalan ng bangko, isusumbong natin kay Gov para mapagalitan sila.
Sumbong nyo kay Edwin.
Kay Coco po natin sumbong.
Okay. Ang next po is, bumalik na po tayo sa ating hanging question. Do you agree with Goldman Sachs that there will be, ito naman po ay prediction lang nila, that there will be 3 more BSP interest rate hikes due to oil shocks and El Nino. But your next meeting po, you said, will be in August pa po, di ba?
In August, Hindi naman kami gumagawa ng monetary policy based on what Goldman Sachs says.
Tama naman.
Although they have a role because when we decide on the policy rate, we also kind of give hints about future policy rates. So nakakatulong dyan yung mga market analysts, yung mga Goldman Sachs para mabuo yung yield curve na tinatawag.
Right.
Will it be very much dependent on the status of the Iran war still? Yung aftershocks pa rin po nito?
Yung importante pa rin yun, that's still a big factor. The other risk is El Nino.
Right.
So habagat will be worse than before. So we have to guard against that.
Governor, I was thinking you mentioned, because we compute gross national income based on remittances as well.
Yes.
If there's a continued war in Iran, in the Middle East, so the remittances will significantly, theoretically be diminished. Will that affect our status kung sakali on the UMIC? Is that a yearly classification ho ba?
Parang hindi naman. I think
Hindi naman.
It's and they wait a bit to confirm the numbers and then they decide.
Although I saw in an interview of Sec RC that to be able to see the benefits of it, we would have to maintain it for 3 years. So hopefully hindi tayo bumaba. There's another question po, how will the BSP protect the Philippine peso with these 2 challenges, El Nino and other shocks?
We don't defend a particular level for the peso. We let market forces decide that.
Senior citizen na daw po kasi.
Oo nga eh. Pero yung masyadong magulo yung peso, ayaw namin nun. We don't want the exchange rate to be too volatile.
So, pero ano lang, before we ask the tough question, so when do you intervene para normally you don't intervene, you let market forces determine it, but kailan kayo nag-i-intervene?
Tinatansya namin kung anong dapat na volatility. Pagka sumobra doon, pumapasok kami.
So
pag masyadong volatile, masama sa exports, masama sa imports, pareho yun.
So that's the only time that you intervene, and that's very sparingly used.
We also intervene when there's a big swing.
Right.
Paminsan-minsan lang yun. If there's a big swing, nagiging inflationary. Yun.
Is there anyone speculating on the peso like what she did with the Bank of England then? What's the name of that guy? Na Hungarian investor? Wala naman
si Soros.
Si Soros, George Soros. Oo. Is there anyone speculating on the Philippine peso right now?
Meron, pero hindi mga hedge funds. Hindi.
Hindi. Too small ang Philippine peso.
Ano lang, yung konti-konti lang. Mostly sa Singapore.
Okay.
Yung meron tayong NDF market, nasa Singapore yon. Puro dollars lang yon. Pero pinipresyon yung one side is priced in pesos. And then they try to speculate. But it's limited.
So you mentioned Singapore. Congratulations on the hosting of the ASEAN
Yes.
recently. Could you tell us about that? I think it was a very successful meeting. And there was a proposal for a common currency. Is that something that is seriously being talked about, or is it even possible?
Not a common currency, but a payment system that's integrated within ASEAN. So madali magpadala ng pera
maganda yun.
within ASEAN.
Parang ang explanation po nila is para pag may turista daw dito, kunyari from another Southeast Asian country, kahit na gusto niyang bumili ng mga pasalubong lang, pwede na nilang, mas madali po yung kanilang payments.
You're not looking at it as like an EU thing na common. Ano?
Hindi naman. Oh.
Okay.
Yung EU talagang iisang currency for,
Okay.
for many countries.
Ikaw na magtanong ng tough question.
Sige po. So, meron po kasing section dito on the spokes. Ang tawag po nila is the tough questions. Yung question po ay, what are the economic opportunities, the top economic opportunities that you see maybe in the next 5 years?
I would think a lot of it are in the digital area. Including AI, I think we have to somehow get into the value chain of artificial intelligence. And now, as of now, the IMF divides Asia into oil countries and non-oil countries. So we're non-oil, and then tech countries and non-tech countries. We're non-tech in that category. We want to be in the tech, on the tech side.
So do you see the impact po of making the Philippines some kind of like AI hub?
I think the opportunities are in training AI, like images. AI is not very good with images, so we can help AI be trained with the more complicated images like this. So very reliable descriptions of the image is something that will.
Just for you, good news for you, Governor. I used to be a director of a hyperscale data center.
Okay.
And there is a lot of interest on the hyperscalers, especially on AI, to looking at the Philippines right now. So that's something that's what you said is true.
But are we ready for cybersecurity? Di ba yung mga fears nila kasi, di ba?
Yes. Big issue.
Big
issue.
But hopefully, magiging okay. For the anniversary po ulit of the central bank, I saw in the news, ito po pala yung libro. So, Risk and Resilience in the Philippine Financial System. Yes po, congratulations po on...
Pinaghirapan namin yan.
Is this available po to the public?
Yes, it should be.
Oh, that's wonderful. So this is a new book. Congratulations on your new book. People need to know also that the BSP has a beautiful museum and also a really good publications arm.
Yes.
Klaro lang po natin, ang BSP po hindi Boy Scouts of the Philippines, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas po.
Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. So ito po yung kanilang libro. How much has changed. Ayan po. So happy anniversary po. And I think there's also a commemorative coin. Di ba po? Parang coming out. Natuwa ako dun sa ASEAN commemorative coin nila eh. Parang 10 pesos. Tapos parang may QR code.
Bibigyan ka namin.
Okay.
You know, Governor, we have a last question for you. What can the public expect from your leadership at the BSP?
I'm trying to do two things. As I said, monetary policy is not intuitive. We need more rigorous research to analyze data so that we're more precise with monetary policy. And then on the financial stability side, we need things like deeper capital markets so that we have a spare tire, as Greenspan suggested.
So how will we remember the legacy, the Remolona legacy po? Siguro po, if you could describe it in 2 to 3 words. Beauty queen question.
Hindi ko pa iniisip yung legacy na yan eh. Marami pa tayong problema sa
That's true po.
present.
Although what we have observed po is that one thing that you've been doing really great is being innovative.
Yes.
We're trying.
Yes po. Congratulations, sir, and thank you so
salamat,
much
Governor,
for starting this week on a great note. Abangan naman po natin later ang impeachment.
At sa maintindihan na talaga nila kung anong trabaho ng BSP.
Salamat, Edwin. Salamat, Margaux.
Thank you so much po, Gov. We got a really good economics lesson today. Thank you so much po.
Okay. The Bilyonaryo News Channel expands its reach to more viewers in Central Luzon through CLTV 36.
And starting today, July 6, the spokes will air every 5 to 6 p.m. before Agenda on CLTV 36. I'm former spokesperson Margaux Salcedo.
And I'm former Secretary Edwin Lacierda.
And we are the spokes.